neurodivergent children have this moment of realization or acceptance that they have a neurodivergent child who is just different somehow. Maybe they're struggling socially, maybe they're struggling at school, with the environment of school, with the expectations of school. Perhaps it's struggling academically, but there is this moment of realization, and it might be that you've always had it in the back of your mind. It might be that you're aware of your own neurodivergence, and therefore there's a likelihood that your child will also be neurodivergent. It might be that you can sense it, you can see it from day one. It might be that teachers bring it to your attention. It might be that that moment of realization and acceptance comes like post-diagnosis, sometimes some time after that. But you realize in this moment that you are going to have to do things differently. You are going to have to parent your child differently because their way of experiencing the world, their needs are going to be different to a neurotypical child. And that will be different for every neurodivergent child. But you realize then as well that the approach that you're going to have to take from that moment on really matters. And this was such a significant turning point for us, this realization that our children were different and we're going to need parenting differently, that we had to completely re-educate ourselves from scratch. We had to discard some of our conditioning from our own upbringing and really look at the child that was in front of us. And it's completely transformed the way I parent my children. It's completely transformed the way I approach my teaching. But this is so, so important. And there are three reasons for this. Firstly, the child at the heart of this is going to feel different, like they're going to struggle to fit in because they are in a minority. The way that they process information, process the environment around them is different, and they are managing this cognitive load all of the time. And it's down to us to help them realize that they still have enormous value. We need to acknowledge those differences that become real challenges because they're different. But it's down to us to keep their confidence high and help them see all of the strengths that come with their neurodivergence and who they are as a person. Because school is just inherently going to be a very challenging environment for neurodivergent people, partly because of the environment itself, but also because of the framework, the structure, the expectations don't align particularly well with the way that neurodivergent brains operate. So firstly, we have this awesome responsibility of keeping that child's confidence high and keeping their perspective right in terms of understanding that their whole definition of success shouldn't be determined by what the education system tells them. And then the second reason this is really important is like at a societal level, because the way things are in education at the moment, we are training children to pass exams in silence, memorize a whole load of information, work on their own. And this is completely contrary to what the world needs. We're training them to answer questions in a particular way. We give them formulas to answer these questions. It's got to fit the mark scheme. So we are narrowing their thinking all the time. And one of the wonderful things about the neurodivergent brain is that they can see things so differently. Their pattern spotting, their creativity, all of these skills are skills that are hugely in demand in the 21st century. This different way of thinking, this different way of processing information, this different way of looking at problems. So from a societal point of view, we need to be protecting and enhancing these neurodivergent skills that they bring to the world. And then thirdly, this whole mission is really important because of changing perceptions around neurodivergence, as well as the incredible qualities that neurodivergent traits can bring. We also need to move away from a lot of the stereotypes. There's a huge amount out there at the moment in the press. The government isn't helping very much, but in sort of stigmatizing neurodivergent people and suggesting that they may well be, looking for enhancements and reasons to get a diagnosis. And there's quite a bit of division around this whole neurodivergence issue at the moment. And we need to start turning these perceptions around and not just seeing the problems and what's wrong, but seeing what's possible when we embrace difference, when we embrace the way our brain works and stop trying to force it like a round peg into a square hole. Once we've reached this moment of realization and acceptance that we are raising and nurturing neurodivergent young minds, then we need to help them make the best of themselves. And that is very much at the heart of the mission at Nurture and Thrive. It's all about changing the narrative from what's seen to be wrong to what's very much possible for young neurodivergent minds. Now, we experienced this realization and this acceptance with our own children and completely changed the way that we have raised them. It's helped me realize and get diagnosed my own neurodivergence. So this is very much at the heart of both my personal and my professional world. So over the next few days, I'm going to be sharing some much more personal insights into why this is such an important aspect of work. I've ultimately stepped away from my leadership role in education so that I can dedicate myself and my time to helping young people and families understand how their brain works so that they can get the best from it, and that we can deal with these issues around supporting these children's confidence, belief in these skills and these traits that they have, the societal issues around really needing to harness these skills and embrace these skills. So if you've got neurodivergent children in your life, wherever you are at this point in accepting this challenge of raising and nurturing these young neurodivergent minds, do join us on our mission to change this narrative from what seemed to be wrong to what is very much possible if we get the environment around these children right. I'll be in touch again tomorrow.